I was systematically recruited, trafficked across this great nation.
We were groomed, we were manipulated, and we were taken advantage of. We will not stop or give up, and we will be on the front lines of this battle.
By show of hands, who's satisfied at this point, up to this day, with the current administration's reaction to the Epstein case? No one is satisfied.
History is watching, and so are the women who will come after us.
We matter now. We are here today, and we are speaking, and we are not going to stop speaking.
I'm Linsey Davis here on Capitol Hill, where today Jeffrey Epstein accusers and survivors talk very publicly about their very private stories. We are here to talk to them and hear what they'd like to see happen now.
To those in power, hear us clearly. Do your job.
Survivors asking lawmakers to unseal files related to the federal investigation into Epstein, a convicted sex offender who died in jail in 2019.
Epstein was not just a serial predator. He was an international human trafficker.
Standing shoulder to shoulder in solidarity with a simple goal of justice and the truth exposed.
Transparency is justice. Release the files, end the secrecy, and stand with us in declaring that no one, no billionaires, no politicians, not world leaders, is above the law.
From Florida to New Mexico to New York City, even the UK. These brave women say they were exploited by Epstein all over the globe. But their unifying mission brings them together here in the nation's capital with a group of lawmakers.
We're here not as partisans, we're here as patriots. I hope my colleagues are watching this press conference. I want them to think, what if this was your sister? What if this was your daughter? This is not a hoax. This is real. There are real survivors. There are real victims to this criminal enterprise. And the perpetrators are being protected because they're rich and powerful and political donors to the establishment here in Washington, D.C.
Marina Lacerda is one of Jeffrey Epstein's accusers. She was listed as minor victim number 1 in the 2019 Epstein indictment.
It's so hard to begin to heal knowing that there are people out there who know more about my abuse than I do. Today, I stand here with the women who have really helped me to find the strength to come out and come forward to share my story for the very first time.
She has never been publicly identified and never spoken publicly until now. Let's go back, and forgive me because I'm going to try to ask you some of these things from the past that you may not remember. But let's just start with your childhood. I know you were born in Brazil, then you moved to Astoria.
Yes.
And what was your upbringing like?
In Brazil, it was great. I really had a great experience from 1 until 8. I came to New York when I was 9 years old. My mother came before me. I stayed in Brazil for a year or so. I later on came. But when I came, my mother had met my stepfather at the time. And I would say, I don't know, 2-3 months after that, I started to get sexually abused by my stepfather. From 8 till 13 or 12, it really sucked my life. Like, I really hated that time.
And on top of that, there were financial constraints.
After my stepfather left and got arrested, and my mom couldn't get a job or whatever the case was, so I started working. And I think that's what kind of led me to Jeffrey Epstein. You know, a girl saw me that, you know, I was struggling and I needed to make meets ends, and she was like, hey, like, I have a gig for you.
What did she say the gig was?
She had said that, you know, I was going to massage somebody. But I wasn't expecting what led on to that day.
And how old are you at the time?
I just turned 14.
After you went the first time, you give the massage. Who gives you $300?
The first time, the girl did. He handed it to her, and she gave it to me. I went there a couple more times with her, but then I went on my own because he asked me to come by myself.
He would call you directly?
He would have one of his secretaries do it. So he would see me, I'd say 2-3 times a week in the beginning, you know, because when he has somebody new in his life, he likes to see them a lot. So I went there a whole bunch of times, and, you know, it led to, unfortunately, he forced me to have sex with him, basically. I really had no choice.
You would describe it as rape.
You know, it's weird because it wasn't like he raped me, but he But
you were 14.
I didn't go in there thinking that it was gonna end up like this. He was a brain surgeon, and he had connections with, you know, Victoria's Secret. So I thought that if I just played along, that I wouldn't be this immigrant from Brazil, you know, and that I would have something to look forward to, you know.
Over time, how much money would you say you got from Jeffrey Epstein?
I don't know, but I definitely, you know, I used to see him 2-3 times a week. You know, that's almost $900, $1,000, right? Did
he ever ask you to bring your friends or recruit?
He did, eventually. He did. He definitely didn't want anybody older than 18. 17 was really a cutoff line for him.
In 2008, about 1 year after she last saw Epstein, Marina was approached by the FBI about their case on Epstein and spoke to a lawyer that she says Epstein provided.
I went to his office. When I got there, I was like, should I say the truth? Like, should I be honest? He was like, you need to be very honest. You need to be very honest about everything. You need to speak the truth. So how am I going to speak the truth if Jeffrey hired this lawyer for me and he's the abuser of many women, right? So I did speak the truth because he told me to. And I left, and he's like, we'll be in touch. I don't remember him calling. I just remember it going away, just like it never happened.
Nothing ever happened?
Nothing. I really thought he was going to be scared and stop because I got subpoenaed and he almost went to jail.
When did you realize that your testimony was so critical, leading ultimately to Epstein's arrest?
It didn't hit me until yesterday.
It took years after Marina Lacerda's initial contact with the FBI for Epstein to be arrested. When did you realize that your testimony was so critical, leading ultimately to Epstein's arrest?
I think recently. You know, I didn't know that, you know, I just found out that I was victim number one. I had no idea, to be honest with you. You know, a lot of the things I think that were supposed to be protected, you know, in 2007, 2008, it didn't happen with the FBI. So I think my name just got thrown around everywhere, and I didn't know that. So I didn't find out until now, and I'm still trying to process that, to be honest with you.
You and I were discussing earlier, you have a young daughter. Have you shared any of your story with her?
I had to tell her because I'm out here speaking. And I ran away from it in 2008. I ran away from it in 2019. There's nothing in life that stays under the sun. It always comes out to light. So I did tell her, and that was tough. But she's so little and so naive. She's like, you know, she's like, Mom, you're such a badass. I'm sorry, give me a minute.
Oh, sure. Do you think that the Epstein files should be released to the public?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think we are all done.
In 2019, Epstein was charged with trafficking and abusing underage girls. Those girls, now women, are coming forward and sharing their stories.
Jonalisa Jones.
Shantae Davies.
Courtney Wild.
Anushka DeGiorgio.
Lisa Phillips.
Haley Robson.
Marina Lacerda.
If you all each had one word or a sentence, how would you describe Jeffrey Epstein?
A master manipulator.
A charismatic monster.
It's hard with one word because to become a master manipulator, you have to be lots of things to lots of people, and you have to be that person who's all things to all people. And he was very charismatic. He could be very charming. He could be very cruel. He could be whatever the situation called for. And that's why it was so terrifying, because he seemed to be all-powerful.
Years after his death, Epstein's alleged crimes have continued to be the subject of intense bipartisan scrutiny, especially now as the Trump administration finds itself in the midst of a firestorm over its decision not to release any additional investigative files on Epstein, after initially promising to produce a so-called client list of people connected to Epstein who may have participated in illegal acts. Right after you all finished that press conference that you had on the steps of the Capitol, in the Oval Office, Donald Trump was asked about his reaction. The president said, "This is a Democrat hoax that never ends, trying to get people to talk about something that is totally irrelevant to the success of our country." Just want to get your reaction to that.
I am a Republican. I voted for you. Don't do that. Party affiliation should never matter. The whole purpose of me pointing out that I was a Republican is because I knew exactly what this would bring. I knew exactly the digs and, they must be Democrat, they must be on this side. This is not a political war. This is about young women that were molested and abused and then lied to, gaslit, and had their trauma weaponized on them for political gain. I will be more than happy to meet him halfway. I will come to him if he needs me to. I would love to sit down so he can look me in my face and tell me that I'm a hoax. This is very real. All these women and these people have sacrificed an incredible amount of time, energy, and patience, and our patients are wearing thin.
By show of hands, who's satisfied at this point, up to this day, with the current administration's reaction to the Epstein case? No one is satisfied. What would bring about satisfaction?
Pass this bill. Transparency, full transparency.
Lisa, let's talk about your encounters with Epstein. Can you share about his grip that you described Epstein having on the modeling industry?
After I was abused on the island, I didn't speak to him for months and months, and his secretaries called me every day. But he was like, "Oh, I've got you. I'm great friends with this, owner of the big agency that everybody wanted to be with at that time." Then I was going out to these parties and charity events and involved in his world. But he never let me forget that he helped me out. So it wasn't until 4 years later I was basically able to escape and move from New York to Los Angeles to get away.
You've talked about how it was layered to a point where you almost didn't think of it as abuse.
I was so confused over it for many years because back then people looked at him like, he was mysterious, he wasn't a playboy and out there, but everyone looked at him with respect. Mm. And so it wasn't until he passed away and the survivors started speaking out where I realized that some of the men he had sent me to, which I thought were just business relationships, many other women were sent to the same man. Mm. I was going through a lot of turmoil over it and then trying to suppress it. Mm. So a lot of this has come about for me in the last few years.
Epstein is estimated to have abused a large number of girls. The Epstein Victims Compensation Fund paid out more than $120 million to 136 survivors. Another 52 women filed and privately settled claims. We see 7 survivors here today. Brad or Brittany, can you give us a sense of how many young women you can say for sure are survivors of Jeffrey Epstein?
I would say we know the names, identities of over 300 safely, and that's probably half.
And 250 of those who one of us has personally spoken with to confirm they're in fact victims.
With regard to the interactions that you had with Ghislaine Maxwell, what has been your response to the DOJ going and talking with her, to her being put into a minimum security camp, and even in talks about, potentially her being pardoned?
She has lied repeatedly since I've known her, and I knew Ghislaine Maxwell very, very well for many, many years. So I really think there are not many people out there who are taking what Ghislaine Maxwell says seriously. But it's now the responsibility, once again, of Congress to put in the action. She was 100% involved. She was complicit, she was enabling, she was enmeshed with Jeffrey Epstein. She would come up with ideas of how to please him so that she would have her needs met. And that often involved her participating in different schemes of abuse and coming up with the specific ideas of how to abuse us.
Yeah, I'll just kind of add to that it's especially scary for me because she's literally 2 hours from where I live now. And so I have had quite a few nightmares, if I'm honest, since she's been transferred. I guess my answer is that I still feel fearful of her, to be honest. I think she's a very I know she's a very calculated person, and I don't feel like she's going to be where she is very long. She's probably going to get out somehow.
Ghislaine Maxwell is serving 20 years for sex trafficking, but has proclaimed her innocence, insisting she did not witness any inappropriate behavior by any of Epstein's powerful friends, and said a long-rumored list of Epstein's high-profile clients does not exist. By show of hands, is there anybody who would support Ghislaine Maxwell getting out of prison?
Only if I'm there when she gets out. And we could show up collectively.
Lisa, just share with us what you've discussed today about the potential release of names.
Several of us Epstein survivors have been discussing creating our own list of names. Yes. We know the names. Many of us were abused by them. Now, together as survivors, we will confidentially compile the names we all know were regularly in the Epstein world. And it will be done by survivors and for survivors.
Well, I was just saying, if they're not going to release it, then we're going to compile our own list. And just speaking to not just us survivors that have come forward, but many others that are silent, that have answers and are scared.
I think it's safe to say that any person who has been sexually abused, assaulted, harassed, quite often there's fear in coming forward and using your voice. Is there an added level of fear with regard to Epstein and some of the celebrity or well-known powerful people who are involved here?
Of course there is.
Absolutely.
I'm probably more afraid of the people we don't know about.
Yeah.
The people you don't know about, the people who know that they may be on any kind of list that is...
The people who are purposely trying to get that list to stay away or not be on that list, that's who scares me.
Because the more you speak out, the more harassed you get and stalked online. And I mean, you've had people following you.
Oh, yeah.
How many of you have daughters?
Well,
and how? Yes, also?
Children.
Sons.
Yeah.
Sons, okay. How has motherhood changed your outlook, your perspective on what you've endured, what you suffered through?
I'm overbearing. Yeah, I'm overbearing, controlling.
But I mean, I've been in like tug of war handoffs with her at her daycare when she was younger because I thought that there was just one man in the building, and just hearing that there was a man in the building, I literally had a panic attack and could not even hand her over to the school. And as far as like I'm a single parent, and my dating life, I don't think I'd ever be able to trust a man in the house with her ever.
I think it's also hard to even family members, at least for me. I don't know about everybody. I don't,
sad to say, sometimes, my daughter will be in the pool and one of the family members who's a male will get in, and I'm like, whoa, like he's flipping her, like this is not okay. So I think it also, not only, in the dating perspective, but also our family members, we're not able to trust them too.
When my daughter was born, I looked at her and I saw who I used to be. And suddenly that was my job. My job was to protect her. And part of protecting my child and all our children is to speak up. With every year she grows, I become more committed to this journey of teaching her boundaries, teaching her how to keep herself safe, empowering her with her voice, with her ability to speak up.
Would anybody say that they feel that they're at the point of being healed?
No. Nobody can go through what we went through and ever be over it. You don't get over it. You just learn healthier coping mechanisms that help you get through the triggers, that help you get through the depression, the sleepless nights, the nightmares. I'm 48 years old and my abuse started at the age of 17. So it's a long time. It's a long time to have this information and keep it secret because you're scared, and I was scared.
I thought that we were really getting somewhere in 2019. I really thought that we were about to take down everyone. We were on fire. We were on fire.
Can we just go by row, and we'll start with you, Lisa, with what justice would look like for you?
For me, it's just accountability. I'm just in shock still that there isn't any accountability. The names that I know and many of us know haven't been announced.
I'm looking for transparency. I'm looking for this bill to be passed.
I think signing the bill is mandatory to start our healing process.
Yeah, I would kind of echo what they've said also, is transparency and not having to live my life immersed in this trauma every single day.
I mean, the four of them have already said it so perfect. It is accountability. We need accountability and transparency. Understand that we're humans and we shouldn't have even had to have done this.
I agree with everyone. I think the big thing here is transparency and healing and passing the bill. Those are three main things.
We keep helping and we keep using our voice. And that to me is enough. Just to have another woman say, I found strength within you to come out for myself. That is justice. And when we're done with this, there is going to be a totally new generation of women that are not to be played with.
Thank you all so much. I know this is not easy, and we're just so grateful that you trusted us with your stories. So thank you.
Thank you.